The highway is dark, the kind of dark that swallows light whole. It's February 14th, 2000, just after 4 a.m. A truck driver, making a routine run along North Carolina State Highway 18, swerves violently. In his headlights, for a split second, was a small figure walking southbound, directly into the path of his rig. He misses her by inches. He pulls over, his heart hammering against his ribs, and looks back. The figure is gone, vanished into the blackness and the relentless, freezing rain. He reports what he saw: a little girl in what looked like a white dress, maybe with her book bag. He is dismissed. It must have been a trick of the rain, a stress-induced mirage. No child would be out here, in this storm, on this night. But hours later, 9-year-old Asha Degree's bed would be found empty, and the truck driver's report would become the first, terrifying clue in a mystery that would haunt investigators for over 2 decades. Where was Asha Degree going at 4 in the morning? And who, or what, was she walking toward? Asha Degree was, by every account, the last child anyone would expect to vanish in the night. A shy, sweet-natured 9-year-old from Shelby, North Carolina, she lived a life of comforting routine with her parents, Harold and Aquila, and her older brother, O'Brien. She attended Falston Elementary School, was a dedicated student, a player on her basketball team, and a devout churchgoer. Her family was close-knit, stable, loving. The night of Sunday, February 13th, was unremarkable. The family attended a church service, returned home to their duplex on Oakcrest Drive, and Asha, tired from a sleepover the previous night and a full day of activities, went to bed early. A storm was brewing outside, a fact noted but not dwelled upon. Harold checked on both children around 2:30 a.m. Asha was asleep in her bed. Everything was normal. The normalcy shattered just a few hours later. Aquila Degree woke up around 6:15 a.m. to get the children ready for school. She went to wake Asha. The bed was empty. A frantic search of the small house revealed nothing. Asha was gone. Her parents' first, desperate thought was that she might have gotten up early and somehow locked herself in a closet or the trunk of the car, anywhere a child might hide. But she was nowhere. A call was placed to 911 around 6:40 a.m. The storm from the night before had left the ground sodden, complicating any immediate search for footprints. The initial assumption, the hopeful one, was that Asha had perhaps run away after a minor scolding about a basketball mishap from the day before. But that theory felt thin, even then. Asha was afraid of the dark. She was terrified of dogs. And on that night, the weather was apocalyptic: thunderstorms, whipping wind, and a cold, penetrating rain. This was not the environment a child like Asha would voluntarily enter. The investigation began with the home. There were no signs of forced entry. No windows pried open, no doors left ajar. Asha's school bag, a black and purple book bag with the words "Pursue Your Dreams" in sequence, was missing. So were several items of clothing: a black and white dress, white jeans, and a red and white striped sweater. She had also packed her favorite sneakers, a pair of white Nike high tops with a small swoosh. Crucially, the family confirmed that a photo of Asha's basketball team and a specific New Kids on the Block nightshirt were also gone. She had taken personal items. This pointed to planning, to intention, but the timeline was brutally tight. Between Harold's 2:30 a.m. check and Aquila's 6:15 a.m. discovery, less than 4 hours existed in the deepest part of the night. And into that window, Asha Degree disappeared. Then came the witness statements that transformed the case from a missing child report into an enigma. The first was the truck driver, who came forward after hearing the news. His sighting, initially doubted, was corroborated. A second motorist came forward. He reported seeing a small figure, possibly a child, walking along Highway 18 around 3:45 a.m., just a mile and a half from the Degree home. He even turned his car around to get a better look, concerned. By the time he circled back, the figure was gone. The geography was critical. Highway 18 runs north-south. Asha's home was on the east side of the highway. The witnesses placed her on the west side, walking southbound, away from her home. She had crossed a major highway, in pitch darkness and a storm, to walk in a specific direction. This was not a disoriented sleepwalk. This was a journey. The search intensified, fanning out from the last sighting. Hundreds of volunteers combed the dense woods and fields lining Highway 18. The FBI joined the investigation. And then, a breakthrough that seemed to confirm Asha's path. On February 23rd, 9 days after her disappearance, a construction worker checking on a shed located roughly a mile south of the second sighting found something strange. Inside the shed, which had been locked but accessible through a faulty door, were several items: candy wrappers, a pencil, and two distinct, heart-wrenching pieces of evidence: a marker from Asha's basketball team, the Falston Dragons, and a single, plastic hair bow, identical to the ones Asha often wore. The shed showed signs of someone having sought shelter. Muddy footprints, small in size. The items were not discarded, they were left behind. It appeared Asha had been there, hiding from the storm. But if she sought shelter here, why did she leave? And where did she go next? The discovery in the shed should have narrowed the focus. Instead, it deepened the mystery. It confirmed Asha was on that road, of her own volition, carrying her belongings. It confirmed she was alive hours after leaving her home. But it also presented an impossible scenario. A 9-year-old girl, terrified of the dark and storms, walks over a mile and a half down a deserted highway in horrific weather, enters a shed, and then vanishes without a trace. No further sightings, no phone calls, no body. The investigation now faced two divergent, equally troubling possibilities. Either Asha was meeting someone, a premise that required explaining how such a secret liaison was arranged without a trace, or she was fleeing from something in her own home so terrifying that the storm was the lesser evil. Yet every forensic and psychological examination of the Degree family home and relationships found no evidence of abuse, no motive for flight. The family was, and remains, utterly cooperative and devastated. The foundation of the case was a solid, loving family life. And from that foundation, Asha simply walked away. For months, the investigation churned through tips and dead ends. The national spotlight faded, but the hunt did not. Then, 18 months later, on August 3, 2001, a chilling discovery reignited the case. A construction crew working on a highway turnaround project in Burke County, North Carolina, approximately 30 miles north of Asha's home in Shelby, in the opposite direction of her walk, unearthed a strange bundle. Buried under fresh soil, wrapped in two black plastic garbage bags, was Asha Degree's book bag. The Pursue Your Dreams bag was found, but its contents were bizarre and telling. Inside were Asha's clothes, her new Kids on the Block nightshirt, and her sketchbook. But there were also items that did not belong to her: a children's book, McElligot's Pool by Dr. Seuss, and a distinct New Kids on the Block concert t-shirt. The bag had not been casually tossed. It had been carefully buried, its contents preserved, its location chosen. This was not the act of a panicked child. This was concealment. The book bag's discovery was a seismic shift. It proved Asha had not simply gotten lost in the woods. It proved someone had possession of her and her belongings after her disappearance. The burial site, 30 miles in the opposite direction of her travel, indicated transportation. Asha had likely entered a vehicle that night. The question of why was she walking was now joined by a more sinister one. Who picked her up? The new items became the investigation's focal point. Where did the Dr. Seuss book come from? It was published in 1947, an older edition. The concert t-shirt was from a specific promotional event. These were not random items from a child's home. They were clues left by an offender, perhaps souvenirs or grooming tools. The FBI's behavioral analysts went to work. The person who buried this bag was methodical, wanted to keep the items but needed to hide them, and had a connection to both the Cleveland County and Burke County areas. Years turned into decades. The case grew cold, but never closed. The Degrees maintained a relentless vigil, transforming their grief into advocacy for missing children. Then, in 2015 and again in 2016, the Cleveland County Sheriff's Office made stunning announcements. They had new information. They were now looking for a specific vehicle seen in the area on the night Asha disappeared. A dark green 1970s model Lincoln Continental Mark IV or Ford Thunderbird. The appeal was precise. Someone out there owned one of these cars in 2000. Someone might remember a driver acting strangely in the days after February 14th. The police also revealed a detail about Asha's journey that had been held back. She was seen carrying a backpack when she left home. But witness descriptions suggested she might have been carrying a different, bulkier bag while walking along the highway. Had she changed bags? Had someone given her a new one? The most haunting revelation, however, came with a revised timeline and a potential motive. Investigators now believed Asha may have left her home closer to 3 a.m., not long after her father's check. They also revealed they were exploring the possibility that Asha left to surprise her parents with a gift for Valentine's Day, which was the next day. This theory attempted to humanize her inexplicable actions, a sweet, if catastrophically misguided, gesture of love. It connected to the candy found in the shed, but it still failed to explain how a child so afraid of the dark summoned the courage for such a trek, or who she encountered that ended that journey. The vehicle focus suggested the police believed she was groomed, lured out by someone she knew or trusted, someone who used the premise of a secret Valentine's mission to orchestrate her departure. This person promised a ride, a surprise, assistance, and Asha, convinced, walked out into the storm to meet them. The case remained frustratingly stalled for years. But in September 2024, a dramatic development breathed new life into the investigation. The Cleveland County Sheriff's Office executed search warrants and named two individuals of interest, Dedman and Roy Dedman's daughter, Annalie Dedman Ramirez, and Russell Bradley Underhill. Investigators revealed that DNA evidence had linked these individuals to the case. In February 2025, additional search warrants were executed as investigators worked to build their case. While no arrests have been made public as of early 2026, authorities have stated they now believe Asha was the victim of a homicide. The recovery of a green 1964 AMC Rambler during the 2024 searches suggested investigators were closing in on answers that had eluded them for nearly a quarter century. The central questions that haunted this case for 2 decades may finally be approaching resolution. Who was Asha meeting or running from on that road? Where did the book in her backpack come from? Who owned the car that transported her bag 30 miles in the wrong direction? The evidence painted a contradictory portrait. A child who planned to leave, who packed personal treasures, who navigated a dangerous route in the dead of night, but who also fell victim to a predator who buried her belongings with a cold, calculated care. The haunting implication of Asha Degree's story lies in the collision of the ordinary and the unimaginable. It is the story of a child from a good home, in a tight-knit community, who stepped out of her front door and into a void. It challenges the very foundations of safety we build around children. It suggests that the threat can be so subtle, so clever, that it can convince a little girl to willingly walk into a storm. Her case is a ghost story rooted in fact, a reminder that some mysteries, even after 25 years, can suddenly crack open when investigators refuse to give up. The storm has long passed over Highway 18. The shed still stands. And now, after decades of silence, the pieces may finally be falling into place. If cases like this fascinate you, there are more waiting in the dark corners of this channel.